We all know there's been a lot of changes in the world of college football over the last several years, and some of us are just about fed up with it. But we have yet another change to discuss today. Now, this is one that kind of a lot of us have seen coming, going back really to last year. But the expanded playoff, which is set to start this fall at the end of the 2024 regular season. When they first announced that expansion to 12 teams, there was a 6+6 model. 6 guaranteed berths into the playoffs, and then 6 at-large bids into the playoffs. The guaranteed bids would be based on winning a conference. So the playoff board is made up of the commissioners of all 10 major conferences, the so-called Group of Five, and then the so-called Power Five, plus the athletic director of Notre Dame for no reason at all. I don't think Notre Dame should be involved. It's not fair that one school has its own singular representative, whereas every other school just has their conference's commissioner. But anyway, different video for a different day. So there's 11 people that are involved in voting on this stuff, and that was the deal that they had come up with a couple of years ago to expand the playoffs starting this year. 12 teams total, 6 automatic bids to the playoffs, which would go to the 6 highest ranked conference winners, and then 6 at-large bids that a playoff committee would vote on, right? So they'd vote another 6 teams in. And the way they were to determine which 6 teams got the automatic bid would be the 6 highest ranked, right? And there was only 5 Power 5 conferences. So in theory, you would have gotten the champion of each of the Power 5 conferences plus the highest ranked Group of 5 conference champion. Well, of course, the Pac-12 has gone away, and Oregon State and Washington State are all that remain of what used to be the Pac-12, and they are basically a part of the Mountain West at this point. They've got a scheduling agreement with them. So there's been a lot of talk over the last few months about, well, what's going to happen to this 6+6 playoff model? Are we still going to give 6 automatic bids to the playoffs, even though now there's only technically 4 what we call Power 5 conferences? There's only 4. So now 2 Group of 5 conferences are going to get automatic bids. That's the way it would, that's what would have happened had things stayed the same. You would have got, conceivably, you know, the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12. The winners of those 4 conferences would have got in. There still would have been 2 automatic bids left. So you're looking at, the Sun Belt winner or the AAC winner or whatever the case. So they've gone back and they've voted on it again, and they've redone it, and they've basically just changed it to a 5+7. So instead of 6 automatic qualifiers into the playoffs, now there's only 5. So you're still going to have one quote-unquote Group of 5 team have access to the playoffs every single year, no matter what, no matter how good or bad they are. And then you're going to have 7 at-large bids, right? Basically voted on playoff berths by a playoff committee. So this doesn't affect the first round bye, which is another huge part of the expanded playoff, right? The highest 4, the 4 highest ranked conference champions of the now 5 that are guaranteed to get in, the 4 highest ranked of those 5 will receive a first round bye. That's staying the same. And it's likely to be the winners of what's left of the Group of 5. Now, I guess technically the Group of 4, the ACC, the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12. Probably in most years, the winners of those 4 conferences are gonna be the highest, the 4 highest ranked conference champions, but not necessarily every year. If you just go back a couple of years, the winner of was it the ACC? Pitt, I think, won the ACC, and they were ranked somewhere around 15th, and Cincinnati was in the top 4. And if a scenario like that were to unfold again, then that Cincinnati team, that Group of 5 team, would receive the bye in the first round, and the ACC winner, in that case Pitt, would still get in, guaranteed to get in, but they would not get a first round bye, and they would be seeded somewhere 5 to 12. That's the other thing. So the 4 highest ranked conference champions get an automatic bye. The 5th highest ranked conference champion doesn't automatically become the 5 seed, which means they then would get a home playoff game playing the 12 seed and all that. If you're not in the top 4, then you're just guaranteed to be somewhere in that 5 to 12 range. So if you're one of these group of five schools and you end up being take this last year, for example, the highest ranked group of five conference champion finished like barely 20th or something, right? Well, they're not going to be the fifth seed in the playoff just because they're the fifth highest ranked conference champion. They would have been, if we'd had a 12-team playoff last year, that group of five team would have been the 12th ranked team. And fifth would have been probably Florida State from last year, or Georgia, or Ole Miss, or Ohio State, or however it worked out with the rankings. So that's the change. We still have a 12-team playoff. You're still going to have first-round byes for the four highest-ranked conference champions. But instead of there being 6 at-large teams and 6 automatic berths, there are now 5 automatic berths and 7 at-large bids. There you go. Changes to the playoffs. Again, have a good morning.